Okay, let's unpack this. We've got quite a source here today. It's a transcript from a YouTube video. Suspect realizes she's being charged with murder.
Right, from Red Tree Stories. And our goal, really, is to sift through the details in this transcript. It's about the death of Shane Moore, his family dynamics, and police interviews with his sister Kelly and her daughter Tucker.
Exactly. We need to understand the different viewpoints, the key events leading up to the shooting itself, and crucially, how the police investigation, especially this critical video evidence, shaped the outcome, at least according to this source material.
Yeah, it's not straightforward. We're definitely navigating some conflicting stories within the same family.
So let's set the stage. It starts July 26, 2016, a 911 call.
Uh-huh. The source says it was Kelly Moore, Shane's sister, calling it in. Said her brother was shot, killed right outside her house.
Police show up, find Shane, single gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And Kelly and Tucker are right there.
But, and this is key from the source, initially they're not naming the shooter, just saying, self-defense.
Right. And the source material we're looking at, it really digs into those police interviews that happen next.
And these interviews, as the transcript tells it, they reveal this much deeper, much more complex history. It's not just about that day.
No, it's years of family conflict, alleged threats, tension, especially around property and inheritance stuff.
Exactly. The source gets into that backstory pretty quick, mainly through Kelly's eyes first.
And she paints a picture that makes the shooting feel, well, almost like a culmination of everything that came before.
She talks about a specific incident 9 months earlier, a physical fight between Shane and her daughter, Tucker.
Yeah, Kelly claims Shane threw a half-gallon container of motor oil right in Tucker's face, knocked her down, left a permanent scar.
That's brutal. And the source says Tucker pressed charges after that.
Which, according to Kelly's account, is what kicked off months and months of threats from Shane.
Yes, Kelly told police these threats were relentless. Against her, against Tucker, even against their mother. Demanding Tucker drop the charges or he'd kill them. That's the allegation.
And it wasn't just one time. Kelly described it as, constant pressure.
Now, here's where the property angle really comes in, according to Kelly's interview in the source.
Right. She describes Shane as violent, totally focused on getting into their mother's will before she passed. Their mom was elderly, frail.
And the source even details this incident just a week before the shooting. Shane apparently ignored a restraining order Tucker had against him, went into the mom's house when Kelly wasn't there.
And allegedly forced the mother to sign some paper she thought was a will.
And Kelly quotes Shane saying something really chilling during that incident, something like, "I'll kill it," referring to Kelly. "I'll kill her whether you sign it or I kill her."
Wow. So Kelly's reaction to that, according to the source, she planned to fight back, legally, sort of.
Yeah, she wanted to adulterate the document Shane got signed, add clauses to disinherit him if he hurt anyone, and she had her mom prepare a renunciation too, saying she signed under duress.
So Kelly was actively trying to counter Shane's moves on the property.
Definitely seems like it from her account. So you've got this history, violence, months of alleged death threats, a restraining order ignored, and Shane seemingly making a desperate move for property just a week before.
That's the powder keg, right? As presented in the source. So let's get to the day of the shooting, the setup.
Okay, so Shane shows up at the mother's house. He's got a notary, a realtor. The plan is for the mom to sign this document.
The realtor goes inside, but Kelly stays outside by the realtor's car. Why?
She told police she was worried Shane might vandalize it, which, given everything, maybe suggests she was already on edge anticipating trouble.
Maybe. So what's Kelly's version of what happened right before it all blew up at the door?
Kelly says Shane saw her outside, confronted her, said something like, "Don't you fuck up my deal, Kelly," or "you and Tucker," and then made a throat-slasting gesture.
Jeez.
She claims she told him she wasn't scared, but inside she was terrified. So terrified, she yelled into the house for the realtor to send Tucker out to her.
Okay, meanwhile, inside, Kelly says they were looking for her mom's ID for the notary.
Right. And while looking, Kelly gets her hands on the document Shane brought.
And she realizes...
It's not a will. The source says she saw it was a grant deed, giving Shane half the property.
Ah, so her reaction.
Instantaneous. She rips it up, 4 pieces.
And Shane?
He's outside, looking through the sliding glass doors, according to Kelly. He sees her rip it, and he just starts running towards the front door.
Kelly realizes the front door isn't locked.
Right, so she runs to lock it.
Okay, now the confrontation at the door, specifically from Kelly's perspective, how did she describe that moment to the police?
She said Shane got there just as she was trying to shut and lock the door. He forced it open, shoving the door hard against her. She said he was trying to get in, trying to hurt her.
And then silence.
Pretty much. The source notes Kelly explicitly stopped talking at that point, told detectives she would not discuss what happened next.
That's telling. What about her reaction during the interview to Shane actually being dead?
Also very telling. The transcript quotes her saying she's so glad he's dead. No grief, just relief that he couldn't do this to us anymore. It really shows her state of mind, you know?
Yeah. And what did she say about the gun?
Kelly claims she only found the gun after the shooting, said it was on a table, and she hid it in a drawer so nobody could get to it. She also mentioned distrusting the police.
Okay, finding the gun after. Let's hold on to that, because now we need to get into Tucker's version from the source.
Wow.
And it differs on some key points.
Right. Tucker confirms the history, the threats, the property stuff. That aligns. On the day itself, she says she was kind of back and forth, kitchen, bedroom, watching the DNC, trying to get a minute on her phone.
What did Tucker see that started the final confrontation?
She saw Shane come around the porch and just run for the front door, right after her mom ripped the paper. She emphasized he wasn't just looking, he took off running the second he saw it torn.
And her reaction?
She ran with her mom towards the door, screaming. But like Kelly, she describes the exact moment at the door as getting fuzzy. Hazy is the word used in the source.
Okay, now the gun. This is where Tucker's story, as reported, diverges significantly from Kelly's.
Big time. Tucker says she grabbed the gun from the table during that rush to the door. She mentioned her mom had put it there earlier, under a napkin, so the notary wouldn't see it and get scared.
Wait, her mom put it there?
Yeah, Tucker quoted her mom saying to put it in a central place after Tucker showed her the gun earlier that day.
Okay, so Kelly says she found it after Tucker says her mom put it there earlier and she grabbed it during the confrontation. That's a major discrepancy in the source's accounts.
Huge. Tucker then describes Shane forcing the door open, coming into the house, banging the door into her mom, both screaming.
And what did Tucker give as her reason for firing the shot, according to the source's account of her interview?
She said she was absolutely sure he was going to kill her mother. She directly linked it to what her mom told her earlier that day about Shane's threat to kill Kelly if she messed up the deal.
So that recent threat, combined with the history, was front and center for Tucker.
That's her claim. That fear was the direct reason. About the gun itself, she said she had it, was screaming. She thought you had to, cock it first. Then it just went off.
But crucially, did Tucker see Shane with a weapon?
No. The source is clear on this. Tucker told police she did not see any weapon on Shane when he was at the door.
The source also mentions Tucker firing the gun earlier that day, before Shane even got there.
She admitted it, yeah. Fired her grandfather's old revolver, said it was partly curiosity, but also this sort of hope that maybe Shane would hear it and just stay away.
Right.
Then she reloaded it and put it on the table under the napkin.
Which is where she says she grabbed it later.
Exactly.
How did Tucker explain her feelings about Shane, potential motive?
She admitted she didn't like him, shared her mom's feelings. But she specifically pushed back on the idea she shot him just out of dislike. Said she would never have shot him in front of so many witnesses if that was all it was.
And her memory of actually pulling the trigger? Still hazy.
Very hazy, according to the source. She says, I don't know. Yes, I don't know. Just remembers being really afraid for her mom and herself as he pushed through the door. Oh, and Tucker also suggested the notary and the realtor probably didn't see Shane at the door because of, a wall blocking their view from the table.
Okay. So, two overlapping stories, but with key differences, especially about the gun. Both describe immense fear, a history of threats, Shane forcing the door. How did the police view all this, based on the source?
Well, the source suggests the police saw it potentially going two ways. On one side, you've got a solid self-defense argument brewing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The threats, the restraining order, the forced entry attempt.
And there are big butts here.
Right. No weapon seen on Shane. That's huge. Plus, the property dispute motive hanging out there.
And the source mentioned another complicating factor, something a witness allegedly heard.
Yeah, an alleged witness statement claiming they heard Kelly yell, "What do you mean he's not dead yet?" after the shot. If true, that really damages the self-defense narrative.
Okay, so the case is kind of on a knife's edge. Then comes the video.
The video. Tucker's lawyer actually gave it to the police. Apparently, they thought it would prove self-defense.
Oof. But what did the video actually show, according to the source, and what happened?
The source describes it showing the people inside, Shane outside looking through the glass, calm at first. Then he sees Kelly rip the paper, and he runs to the front door. Kelly runs. Tucker follows right behind.
And the shot?
Here's the kicker. The source says the video shows Tucker firing the weapon basically as soon as she can see Shane in the doorway.
As soon as she sees him. Not necessarily deep into a struggle like parts of the interviews implied.
That seems to be the interpretation from the source's description of the video's timing. And instead of helping,
It backfired.
massively, according to the source. It says the prosecution got the video and immediately upgraded Tucker's charges to murder. The evidence meant to exonerate was seen as incriminating.
Wow. Just wow. A defense strategy gone completely wrong based on this account. So the final outcome presented in the source.
Tucker went to trial. But during the trial, she took a plea deal, pleaded guilty to manslaughter, got 6 years with time served. The source mentions her release date is set for November 25, 2024.
So we've walked through the history, the chaos at the door from two perspectives, the complaining details, the complicating factors, and then this bombshell video evidence changing everything, all from this one YouTube transcript source.
It really throws into sharp relief how complex these situations are. You have the subjective experience of fear based on a documented history of threats.
Right, this deep-seated fear described by both Kelly and Tucker, believing they were in immediate mortal danger.
But then you have the objective evidence, or lack thereof. No weapon seen on Shane, the alleged witness comment. And then the video showing the timing of the shot, possibly differently than the verbal account suggested.
It paints a very different picture, at least the one the prosecution ran with, according to the source. Absolutely fascinating and, frankly, tragic all around.
It really is. And it leaves you wondering,
Yeah.
well, considering everything in the source, the video showing that quick shot, the conflicting stories about the struggle, how much weight should we give to the perception of danger, that feeling shaped by years of threats, even if the immediate physical evidence, like no weapon, doesn't quite match the described level of imminent threat at that exact second.
That's the core of it, isn't it? Can that intense, historically rooted fear justify the action in that split second, even when the video might tell a slightly different story about the timing?
A really tough question. The intersection of fear, history, perception, and what the camera captures.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us to break down the source material on the Shane Moore case and the interviews with Kelly and Tucker Moore.
Yeah, thanks for diving into these complex details with us.
Yeah.